Greetings, friends and listeners. This is Amir sending lots of love from the land of Israel, where I'm actually feeling a little bit okay today. It's a hard thing to say on day 17 of a horrible war that is only going to get worse before it gets better, but nonetheless, we still have to take care of our own mental health and personal health. And so I did a breath work, I wrapped a fill in, I ate some healthy food, and I'm jumping on the microphone to share with you some of the ideas that I've been wrestling with the last few days. As a tour guide who finds himself painfully unemployed at the moment, I have a little bit too much free time, so here we are. I wanted to remind you all what we're doing here. Not about the war and not about the struggles in Gaza and Israel, but I want to remind you travelers, the adventurers, the pilgrims and the wanderers like me, that this place is something special. This is not bucket list tourism. This is something that is universal about the Holy Land, that tingles and teaches all of us a little bit about ourselves, about this place specifically, and about good people. There are good people in Israel. And right now, 350,000 of them ran to join their units in combat because it was the right thing to do. And their government asked them to. And their brothers in arms came together around the common goal of defeating our enemies. But the humanity of our army is something that is just tremendous. It's unfortunate that it has to be cloaked in militarism, but nonetheless, it's people. Yisrael Chai, and the life force that breathes through each and every one of us in this strange little country is infectious. I want to be closer to my people. Kiruv, get close, is ironically the same word that's connected to the word korban. Kiruv, closeness, and korban is sacrifice. Now, it's an interesting dichotomy between sacrificing, and God forbid we have to sacrifice ourselves and our lives and our time and our money sometimes, but when we do, somehow we're able to get closer to one another. And there is a closeness, a warmth, an intimacy, a beauty that even in the horror of the times that we're living is something that is a flame of life and love and power of humanity that is burning in this nation, in our hearts and in our souls, and it's burning a hole in my wallet, but that's okay because it gives me the opportunity to get close by volunteering and giving blood and giving reports on what's going on, as well as giving my abilities to my neighbors and my child who I haven't been able to spend as much time with as of recent. And so there are sacrifices that all of us are being asked to make. Horribly, some have been sacrificed by our enemies. But I want to deal with the life force. It's ironic that the contrast between closeness and sacrifice that I've just highlighted here allow us to understand some of the depth and wonder of the Jewish tradition. And I want to share with you another contrast, which is one of my two favorite words. As you all know who've been with me, contrast and context are my jam. But this one is about joy and sorrow. Simcha ve'tzoras. These two opposite terms give us a little bit of insight as well into something that I want to highlight. At a Jewish wedding, and I hope if you haven't been to one, get yourself invited to a Jewish wedding. It's one of the greatest things ever. I still have people 15 years later coming up to me saying, your wedding was something else, and I take that to heart. God bless my beautiful bride, Devra. But we smash a glass at a Jewish wedding, if you didn't know this. The happiest day of our lives when two families come together and two people come together, and the potential Ein Sof for generations to come is made possible. We smash a glass out of sorrow. On the happiest day in our life, we smash a glass and remember the sadness. This is a Jewish tradition to keep us humble, to remember always that the temple has been destroyed, to remember that our people have been burned in Holocaust before, so that even in our happiness and our joy and our simcha and sason, we have a little humility in remembering the sorrow. And so inversely, I want to ask you all now, in this time of sorrow, for the Jewish people here and now, in Israel and around the world, we are full of sorrow. For the 1,400 who've been cut down, for the lives and the families that were lost, for the sorrow that I don't need to go into detail to describe for you because it's the worst horror that humanity has befallen the Jewish people in as many years. But I want to remember the simcha, the celebration. And I want us in this dark time to honor the light of volunteers running around the country. Props to Tasha. And props to tens of thousands of people running soldiers back and forth to their bases to get home, to see their families for a day, to take a clean shower, do some laundry, and run back to the base to defend your brothers in arms. I want to celebrate my people who have come together. Not just the Jews, but the Druze, and the Maronites, and the Christians, and the Ahmadiyya, and the Muslim Bedouin who have come to honor Am Yisrael in our darkest of times. We are not alone in this fight, and we need to remember that because it feels very lonely to be a Jew right now. but we are seeing humanity coalesce around us. There is a subtle hug that is coming from celebrities who are honoring the lost, and from basketball players who are putting on t-shirts of the missing, and people who are doing righteousness and decency and kindness and acts of mercy that the Jewish people so badly need to feel. We are feeling hurt and horrible. And right now someone's writing me and checking in on me. And every time you write me and check in on me, it warms my heart. And it lets my life force and my happy force and my joy force come a little bit more alive. The Jewish people live. Yisrael Chai. We are alive. Even in the darkness of the lives that were lost, we are seeing a nation rise from the ashes as we've done 100 times before. I can't imagine what it must have been like to get off that ship that brought salvation to the few lucky thousand Jews who were taken away from Spain and able to live and able to be brought to the Turkic Ottoman Empire to restart their lives. That ambivalence of sorrow for what's been lost, but also the lucky joy for what we are able to do and the possibilities and the infinite future that we behold. And so I am wrestling and struggling with these issues. I am struggling with my own responsibility to my people and to my family and to myself as I find myself unemployed, but still able to pick up the microphone and share ideas of joy. The joy must continue. The weddings that are taking place across army bases, because these kids aren't going to get to have a big old fancy wedding like I have, are joyful. And soldiers walking down the aisle, forced to carry guns on their backs with brides in jeans and t-shirts, because that's what the circumstances are right now. Love shines through. And joy is found. And in our darkest hour, I believe in all of my heart that there is something great coming at the end of this. This is but the darkness before the light, because those Saudis who want to sign peace with us will still be there. Maybe they're reluctant, maybe they're quiet, maybe they're a little bit stuck on the ropes themselves, but my people will bring peace to the world. My people who are a light onto the other nations have what it takes in order to bring the Jewish people and the other nations to an elevated state of existence. I believe, because I want to believe, because we've risen from the ashes before. Because peace is still possible once my enemies, the cruel and inhumane Hamasnikim, are destroyed. It will take a horrible battle in order to wipe out and annihilate that evil. Jihad will not disappear and Hamas will not disappear, but evil needs to be confronted with force. And that's the painful reality where we find ourselves. And so I will remember that my voice is my weapon. I am not a soldier, I am not a fighter, I am a talker, a lover, a peacenik, a tour guide, your friend Amir from Israel, sending lots of love and lots of kindness and lots of gentleness, and reminding the world and my listeners, we need your help to remember that the Jewish people are good, mostly, and that the Jewish nation of Israel tries to do good most of the time. And we need to be called out when we do wrong in order to remind us of our mission, as we remind the other nations that we are in this together. The decent, kind, humane nations of the world need to rally together for the goodness of humanity, for the lives that were cut down and lost needlessly, to combat barbarism when it shows its face so that goodness may flourish. I love my nation. I love that we are not alone. I weep for the lost, and I celebrate l'chaim, to life, that it may flourish once again in my land. I miss you all. I wish you all only joy and happiness, and in those sorrowful times that they may too pass. L'chaim, to life, to love from Eretz Yisrael. This is Amir Katz signing off.